One of the things we're going to talk about is AshelyMadison. Now, she's not a guest on the show. I think you thought she was.
I did.
You'd not heard of, it's like these singers that you ask me if I've heard of, and you
Taylor
haven't heard
Swift.
of Ashley. I've heard of Taylor Swift. Oh, yes.
I thought you just said what?
And
Isn't
Megan
that
Trainor and those ones.
I'm so impressed.
The 947. I know, I'm in with the Shazamming, the hits from around the world.
Wow, Dave.
Yeah. But
What did Ashley do?
AshelyMadison is a website which helps people, it's a dating website, sexual dating website, and the background is that someone, or some organization, has hacked into this website.
But isn't it a website for married people who
For
want
skellums.
to have a skellum on the side?
Yeah, apparently. Apparently.
And so this thing's been
Apparently.
hacked. Okay. All right. So maybe let's get into that conversation. Let's see what everybody was talking
Let's
about.
see if Shaka knows what we're talking about.
Shaka, Ashley?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. What I was really intrigued by is the depth of knowledge that you have about this matter, Dave.
I like to keep in touch with all fields of endeavor.
Okay, I saw.
How
Yeah.
big was this conversation?
Incredibly huge, because once the database was hacked, now everybody is thinking to themselves, "Oh my gosh, who's going to come out? Who's going to, who's going to be revealed?" And everyone started talking about this thing, because there's the people who are obviously affected, and then there are the people who want to know
Now,
who
apparently
was
it's
on
Canadian.
the website.
It's a Canadian site,
It started
but it's
in
global
Canada,
in its...
but now it's a global. In fact, they even have an AshelyMadison right here in South Africa.
But you've got to hear this. Morgan Misson says, I can't imagine how shocked AshelyMadison users must feel to discover they've been betrayed by a site they supported and trusted for years. If that is not tongue-in-cheek, I don't know what is.
Well, it's a big deal, because privacy is all that you have when you are a site like AshelyMadison, because people reveal their fetishes, they reveal what they're into. It may well be that I'm a married man and I'm actually looking for other married men,
Right.
and I wouldn't want that to come out.
Or unmarried men.
Let's
Or
quickly
unmarried
take
man.
this one from Daddy. Interesting name there. Daddy says, can't believe Nando's haven't jumped on AshelyMadison hack. No need to cheat. Come to Nando's to spice up your life with a side chick.
That's fantastic, right? You're doing copy for Nando's.
This is the static guy, but
But Shaka raises an interesting point here. The whole assumption of the internet is that you can do business on it and your details are kept confidential.
Yeah.
The commerce that you do, buying your groceries from Pick and Pay by internet. And it appears that it's just a question of how much time and money you need, but someone can get into whatever site they want to.
Well, I don't think we must delude ourselves. Someone can get access to your details, whether you are using the net or whether you actually are giving your credit card in a bar. And we've seen that sort of thing. People get their cards cloned all the time. So you're never really safe. I think it's important to know that. But really, it is terrible for everyone, because what AshelyMadison was selling to people was, listen, we can find a safe, discreet way in which you can step outside of your marriage with like-minded people, and no one will ever have to know.
And it's not
and
illegal.
Now,
it's not illegal.
But guys, hear this.
and now
Hear
it
this.
seems that's,
The Daily Show. Cheating website AshelyMadison hacked. Back to cheating the old-fashioned way with your wife's sister. I actually don't know why I'm participating in this conversation.
Do you have a sister that's married?
No, so none of us are married. But this is just awful. This is just awful. I don't know. I want to move on from this, but the next conversation we're moving to is even worse. So I'm not winning today. Let's move on to...
I just want to ask Shaka if he's cancelled his subscription to the AshelyMadison thing.
After you did.
Guys, let's move on to Marie Claire and Euphonic.
Another big topic.
Another big topic. Give us the background.
Marie Claire, in the latest issue, which is going to come out in Women's Month, which is intended for Women's Month, has got 18 men dressed in heels, and the story is, is Marie Claire in her shoes. So the idea is in her shoes, walking a mile in women's shoes. However,
It's a nice idea.
well, there was some criticism about the idea. One, the fact that in Women's Month you have men featuring so prominently.
Yeah.
Two, that women aren't only just about the high heels. And then thirdly, and this was the biggest bit of criticism, which is that one of the 18 men is a personality, a DJ called Euphonic. And he was in a relationship with another huge personality called Bonang. And at some stage, she actually had him charged or had charges against him.
So that's the guy on the far left.
That's the
with
guy on
hands
the
in
far
pockets.
left.
Yeah.
Hey, look at all those handsome men. So in any
I'll
event,
tell you something.
Dave, why didn't they call you?
No, I don't want to just wear the high heels. I want the whole outfit, okay?
But let's get to the gist of the story, Shaka, because what's been alleged.
What actually happened is that a few years ago, she had charges drawn up against Euphonic, who was the boyfriend at the time, for domestic violence. In the profile, he says something along the lines of, the worst thing that a man can do is lay his hands on a woman. And of course, what happens? Everybody goes nuts. It starts out by Bonang actually laughing at the comment. He posted it on his Instagram. Bonang laughed. Then he said something about wolves, crying wolves, and then it went.
So this thing is huge.
The charges didn't go through?
Well, she then went and dropped the charges. So
she laid charges.
She laid charges and then withdrew the charges.
So
Thank
guilty.
you. You've got the terminology. Have you done this?
So no, I haven't done this, but I'm a big supporter of women who want to stand up for themselves. And I think it was wrong, my personal view, for Marie Claire to put in that campaign a man who has any grey cloud around him against potentially beating up a woman. Now, if you remember, Bonang also had pictures of what she looked like after the alleged incident, where her face was basically done in. And, you know, whether she withdrew the charges because they got back together or whatever has happened, I personally believe he should not be there. And I think a lot of women would share that.
Well,
and he says,
that's exactly
he still
what happened.
denies it.
This is exactly what happened on Twitter. It was a huge storm. And, you know, then Mary Claire actually went in and the editor apologized to everyone. And, you know, and yesterday in the evening, Euphonic actually put out a statement saying my story. So he's sharing his side of the story.
Weak statement. Guys, you know, I'm wrapping this Euphonic thing only because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
We just
Not only because it riles you up.
No.
It makes you mad.
I will smack you. Let's quickly.
Domestic violence.
Well, that's sure.
Let's quickly talk about the guy who says he's not gay and then everybody gets excited about him being gay.
George Libis.
What's the big deal? So what if he's gay?
He's
I don't
a soccer
really
star.
care.
Oh, well, what actually happened here is, this is what actually happened. My gosh, I love my job. So here's what happens. There's a young man, a young gay man.
A hot man.
Well, we're not talking about him in particular. We're talking about a young gay man who was embarrassed on Twitter because he had apparently stolen someone else's picture. And then immediately he, I think to deflect, then starts outing people. So he mentions George Libese, he also mentions another famous personality whom I shan't out now. And he then posts pictures of their conversations, insinuating that, they are actually lovers.
Okay, all right. Moral of the story, it's okay to be gay and it's fine.
But there's another thing for both of these conversations, is that how quickly it gets out there and there's no control whatsoever over the conversation.
All of them went viral extremely quickly. But the big thing is
I've got 30 seconds left, so I'm gonna jump in and
the big thing is that everyone thinks on Twitter that the young man who was outing George Libese is actually lying.
Oh, I see. So, Nkandla, 6 million rand. Let's quickly have a look at what 6 million rand can buy you in Bryanston versus what 6 million rand can buy you in Nkandla.
Everyone went in on this because they saw the terrible state of the houses. They were supposed to be plush, and we all thought they were palatial, and they were actually just one of the mill. Yeah.
I'm surprised that house in Sandton costs only 6 million, but the point is
I actually think that's a bit of a lie. I think that's a 12.
Yeah, guys.
million
Somebody said on Twitter it's about location. So maybe it is 6 million. I'm teasing. It's not
location.
Location. We've come to the end of the show. I'm so sad that we haven't had enough time. And somebody almost got abused right here next to me. But we thank him anyway, Shaka Sisulu, for joining us, and our social media sensei.
Yeah.